The galaxy had rules. Some were simple, like respecting the codes of other planets, and some were ancient, written long before most civilizations even existed. But none was more feared or respected than the human ban. No alien was allowed to observe humans, no one was permitted to study them, and no one could contact them. Stories of human brutality and unpredictability filled every academy lecture, every history scroll, and every simulation exercise. To the alien cadets of the Galactic Academy, humans were a mystery, a danger, and an unsolvable puzzle. Yet rules have a strange way of tempting the curious. Zira, Tarek, and Luvan, 3 cadets still learning their place in the galaxy, stood before a sealed archive in the deepest, most forbidden section of the Academy. The corridor around them was silent, lit only by dim, cold lights that flickered every few seconds. Zira's green eyes glimmered with both fear and excitement. "Do you really think we should do this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Tarek's blue-scaled arms crossed nervously. "If we get caught, we'll be expelled. Maybe worse, but the curiosity won't leave me alone," he admitted, a rare vulnerability in his tone. Luvan, the youngest of the 3, a small and wiry cadet with twitching antennae, simply nodded. "We've heard too many lies. Maybe it's time we see the truth for ourselves." The 3 of them exchanged a glance, a mix of anxiety, thrill, and unspoken promise. Together, they activated a hidden console beneath the archive's control panel. A warning flashed in red letters across the holographic screen. "Access denied. Human files are forbidden." But the cadets ignored it. With trembling claws and careful movements, they bypassed the security protocols, their hearts beating faster than any hyperdrive could make them feel. When the screen flickered to life, they were not met with war, chaos, or destruction. Instead, they saw humans living, breathing, helping. Humans were rescuing alien refugees from burning cities, repairing malfunctioning ships in deep space, and even calming violent storms on distant planets. Each scene was more astonishing than the last. One human was seen convincing 2 warring alien clans to stop fighting, using nothing but words and a quiet, unwavering courage. Another human carefully healed a creature that no alien medicine could save. Zira's breath caught in her throat. This isn't what the archives told us," she whispered. Her fingers trembled as she reached for the holographic controls, trying to replay the footage. Tarek's jaw dropped, scales reflecting the dim light. They're helping. They're not dangerous. Not at all. They're amazing." His voice was a mix of disbelief and awe. Luvan's antennae twitched so violently that he nearly knocked over the console. "Look at them. They care, Tarek, every single one of them. They're not just surviving, they're making the galaxy better." The cadets stared at the screen, unable to speak, their minds spinning. Everything they had been taught, every warning they had been drilled with since childhood, was being shattered in an instant. Humans, the forbidden species, were not the terrifying monsters they had imagined. They were something more, something that no archive, no lecture, no story could ever explain. Zira's voice broke the silence. "Do you realize what this means? Everything we were told. It's all wrong. Humans, they might be the most extraordinary beings in the galaxy." Luvan's heart raced. "If the commanders knew we were watching this, we'd be punished, but I don't care anymore. I need to see more. I need to know everything." Tarek swallowed hard, fear and wonder battling inside him. "We could get caught. They could erase everything. They could banish us, but I can't look away. We have to keep watching." As the footage continued, each cadet felt something awaken deep inside, a spark of hope, a sense of wonder, and a feeling that the universe was not as it had been described. For the first time, they saw humans not as threats, not as monsters, but as beings capable of courage, compassion, and brilliance beyond any alien imagination. The corridor around them remained silent, but inside the cadets, a storm raged, a storm of excitement, fear, and awe. They had broken the rules. They had crossed the line. And in doing so, They had glimpsed something that could change everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. As the final image flickered on the screen, a human holding a dying alien child, whispering promises of safety and hope, Zyra, Tarek, and Luvan realized that what they were witnessing was not just a violation of rules, it was a revelation. The human ban had kept the galaxy from seeing truth, and for the first time, 3 young cadets understood that the universe was far bigger, far stranger, and far more beautiful than they had ever imagined. And with that understanding came a dangerous, thrilling thought. Maybe humans were not meant to be feared. Maybe humans were meant to change everything. The corridor of the Forbidden Archive felt colder than ever. The flickering lights seemed to cast shadows on the cadets' hearts as they stared at the footage, unable to look away. Every scene made their previous beliefs crumble like fragile glass. Humans were not just surviving in the galaxy. They were thriving in ways no alien intelligence could predict. They were healing wounds, bridging divides, and solving problems that had baffled the most advanced species for centuries. Zira leaned closer to the screen, her heart pounding. This isn't possible," she whispered, her voice trembling. "The archives, they said humans are reckless, violent, dangerous. But look at them. They're saving lives. They're helping." Tarek ran a clawed hand through his hair, eyes wide with disbelief. I don't understand. Every simulation, every lesson we were taught. It was all lies. How can something so small, so fragile have this courage? His voice broke as a memory of his instructor's warnings echoed in his mind. "We've been taught to fear them, but there's nothing to fear here." Luvan's antennae twitched rapidly like nervous strings vibrating with unspent energy. "Do you see the way they care? Even for creatures that aren't like them. They don't just survive, they make others survive. And they don't demand anything in return. None of our species does that, none." Syra felt tears welling up in her eyes. She covered her mouth to hold them back, but a single drop escaped. I never imagined that anyone could be this selfless." She turned her gaze to Tarek and Luvan. "Have we been living a lie all this time? Were we wrong?" Tarek shook his head violently. "No, it's not just wrong. It's a betrayal. They told us humans were dangerous, that they couldn't be trusted. And we believed them. We hated them without knowing them. We feared them without ever seeing them." Luvan's small form shook with excitement and guilt. "I feel ashamed. All those lessons, all those warnings, all those fears. And yet humans were the ones who showed what real courage looks like. Real compassion." A new clip played on the screen. A human was seen calming a planet-wide storm using nothing but careful reasoning and quick thinking, saving millions of lives in the process. The cadets could not tear their eyes away. Zira's chest tightened. They don't just fight or survive, they solve problems that we thought were impossible. How can they do this? Tarek's voice was barely audible, but it trembled with awe. Maybe it's not about power. Maybe it's about heart. They see what others can't. They care when no one else does. They fight for hope, not for control or pride. Luvan's eyes glistened. I think we've been taught to fear what we don't understand. Humans aren't predictable. They don't fit into our models or simulations, and that makes us uncomfortable. But it doesn't make them dangerous. The three cadets fell silent, the weight of their realization pressing on them. For the first time, they understood that fear had been planted like a seed in their hearts, nurtured by centuries of lies and prejudice. And now seeing the truth, that seed was dying, replaced by awe, respect, and a strange, almost painful admiration. Zira whispered, her voice breaking with emotion, I don't think I'll ever see the galaxy the same way again. They're not just another species. They're extraordinary. Tarek's claw hovered over the console, hesitant. We have to tell someone. Someone has to see this. Someone has to know the truth. Luvan shook his head nervously. If we tell anyone here, we'll be punished. They'll erase the footage, maybe even expel us, but if we don't tell anyone, how can the galaxy ever know? The silence of the corridor felt suffocating. Each of them wrestled with fear and conviction, wondering if courage could outweigh the consequences. And yet no cadet could ignore the truth in front of them. Humans were not just survivors. They were teachers, healers, and heroes in ways that defied every expectation the galaxy had placed on them. Zira finally whispered, more to herself than to the others. We've been wrong all along. Humans, they aren't what they said. They're everything we've been too blind to see. Tarek and Luvan nodded, eyes shining with tears and determination. For the first time, the three cadets felt united not just by friendship, but by a shared revelation that could shake the galaxy to its core. The human band had been built on fear and ignorance, and now in the quiet darkness of the archive, Zyra, Tarek, and Luvan knew that the truth they had discovered could change everything, if they were brave enough to share it. And with that realization, their hearts burned with both fear and hope, the first sparks of a journey that would challenge the very beliefs of the galaxy itself. The three cadets sat in the dim corner of the forbidden archive, their minds racing faster than any starship could travel. The images of humans, their courage, their compassion, their quiet brilliance, burned in their memories. Each clip was like a heartbeat, echoing in their chests, refusing to be ignored. The weight of what they had seen pressed down on them, heavy and thrilling all at once. Zyra's eyes glimmered with determination. "We can't keep this to ourselves," she said, voice trembling but firm. "The galaxy has been living a lie. Humans aren't the monsters the archives say they are. They're extraordinary. We have to tell someone. We have to make them see the truth." Tarek's scales glimmered under the dim light as he shook his head. "Zyra, if we do that, we'll be punished. Expelled. Maybe worse. The Academy doesn't tolerate anyone who breaks the human ban. You know that. And you know what the consequences could be." His voice wavered, but there was a hidden edge of longing too. A desire to do the right thing even at the cost of safety. Luvan's antennae twitched nervously, but his eyes were fixed on the footage that still played faintly on the screen. "I don't care about the rules anymore," he said softly. "I can't unsee what we just saw. Humans. They're not like anything we've been taught. They're hope. And if we don't share that, then we're part of the lie. Part of the fear that keeps the galaxy from seeing the truth." Zyra reached out, placing a trembling hand on Tarek's arm. "Tarek, I know you're scared, we all are, but look at them. Humans aren't reckless. They aren't selfish. They care about life, about everyone, even strangers, even creatures that aren't like them. They're something more than we ever imagined. Don't you want the galaxy to see that too?" Tarek swallowed hard, his heart pounding. I do want that. But the Council, the commanders, they'll never allow it. They'll punish us. They'll erase the footage and we could be gone forever. Are we ready for that?" Luvan's voice grew firmer, though his small body trembled. "Maybe that's the point. Maybe the truth is worth more than our own safety. We've been given a glimpse of something incredible. Humans. They're not just a species. They're a lesson we can't ignore. If we hide it, we're betraying everything we've seen." Zyra nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I don't care what happens to me. I don't care about the punishment. I want the galaxy to know humans. I want the Council, the commanders, everyone to see them for what they really are. Brave, kind, strong in ways we can't even measure." Tarek looked at the two of them, fear and admiration battling in his gaze. "And if we fail?" he asked quietly. "If they don't believe us? If they punish us anyway?" "Then at least we tried," Zyra replied. Her voice was soft, yet it carried a weight that made even Tarek pause. At least we stood for the truth. At least we tried to show the galaxy something worth believing in. Humans, they deserve that chance. We owe them that much. Luvan nodded vigorously, his antennae flicking like lightning. We've already seen the truth. We can't go back. We can't pretend humans are dangerous. Not after what we've witnessed. And if the Council refuses to see it, we'll find another way. We have to. The galaxy deserves to know. The three cadets sat in silence for a moment, letting the enormity of their decision settle over them. Fear mingled with exhilaration. They were about to defy every rule they had ever been taught. They were about to risk their futures, their careers, even their lives, for a truth that most of the galaxy had been forbidden to see. Finally, Zira stood, her body trembling, but her gaze steady. "We do it together," she said firmly. "No hesitation, no fear. We share what we've seen. The galaxy will know humans. And maybe, just maybe, they'll finally understand that humans are more than anyone imagined." Tarek rose, taking a deep breath, his nervousness giving way to determination. "Together," he agreed. Luvan's small form straightened, his antennae quivering with courage. "Together," he repeated. And in that quiet, forbidden corner of the archive, three cadets made a decision that would change the course of history. They were no longer just students learning about the galaxy. They were witnesses to a truth that could shatter centuries of fear and prejudice. Outside, the academy hummed with normalcy, unaware that inside, three young cadets had chosen courage over fear, truth over obedience, and hope over ignorance. And as they left the archive, hearts racing and minds alight with possibility, they knew one thing with absolute certainty. Their journey was only beginning. The galaxy would never be the same again. The cadets returned to the hidden archive again and again, each visit more dangerous than the last. Every time they stepped through the cold, silent halls, their hearts pounded with fear of discovery. But something deep inside them had awakened, a curiosity too powerful to ignore, a need to understand the truth about humans that no rule, no punishment, no fear could suppress. Zira carefully accessed more files, bypassing security protocols with hands that shook with excitement and dread. Each new clip revealed humans performing acts that seemed almost impossible. They were seen negotiating peace between warring civilizations, creating life-saving technologies in days that took alien scientists decades to develop, and solving crises that had threatened entire star systems. Every action carried not just intelligence but empathy, courage, and a determination that left the cadets breathless. "Look at this," Zira whispered, pointing at a scene where humans had stopped a rogue comet from colliding with a populated planet. They didn't just survive the disaster, they saved millions of lives, without expecting anything in return. Luvan's antennae twitched in awe. How do they do it? They're not supposed to be this capable. The archives never showed anything like this. They think differently. They feel differently. They care differently. Tarek leaned closer to the screen, his jaw tight. It's more than skill or luck. They have a kind of courage we don't even understand. They risk everything to help others, even when it's dangerous for them. Look at this one. They entered a collapsing space station to rescue alien children trapped inside. No hesitation, no fear, just action. Zira's eyes filled with tears. We've been taught to fear humans. But fear them for what? Their strength? Their unpredictability? Look at them. They're stronger in ways we never imagined. Stronger in heart. Stronger in will, stronger in everything that matters. The cadets watched in silence as more files played. Humans had prevented wars, healed alien species from unknown diseases, and even mediated conflicts between species that had been enemies for centuries. Their actions weren't loud or flashy. They didn't boast or demand recognition, but the impact was undeniable. They were not conquerors, not tyrants, not the monsters the galaxy had been warned about. They were heroes. Luvan whispered, barely able to breathe. It's like they're teaching the galaxy what it means to be alive, to care, to fight for something bigger than yourself. And we've been blind all this time. Tarek shook his head slowly. The commanders, the council, they've hidden this. Why? Because they feared humans? Because they couldn't control them? Or because they didn't understand what humans could do? Zyra's gaze hardened. They've underestimated humans for centuries. And now we see the truth. Humans aren't just a species. They're a force of change, a force for good. And if the galaxy doesn't know, the consequences could be devastating. The cadets leaned back, letting the weight of their discovery sink in. Each revelation felt like a hammer striking against the walls of their understanding, breaking down beliefs, fears, and prejudices that had been drilled into them since birth. Luvan's voice trembled with emotion. We can't keep this secret. The truth is too important. They're not just part of the galaxy. They're shaping it in ways no one else can. And if we hide it, we're betraying them. We're betraying everyone who could benefit from their courage. Zyra nodded, wiping tears from her eyes. We risk everything by sharing this. Expulsion, punishment, maybe even exile. But hiding the truth? That would be the greater crime. Humans deserve to be seen for what they are, and the galaxy deserves to know. Tarek finally exhaled, a mixture of fear and determination in his gaze. Then we do it. We find a way to show the council. We take the risk. Because if we don't, the galaxy will keep fearing humans instead of learning from them. And that would be the greatest tragedy of all. The three cadets sat together, their minds racing with plans, fears, and hopes. They had crossed a line from curiosity into responsibility, from forbidden knowledge into revelation. And now, armed with the undeniable truth about humans, they were ready to challenge the very rules of the galaxy. For the first time, Zyra, Tarek, and Luvan felt the weight of possibility on their shoulders. The human band had been meant to keep order, to instill fear, to prevent chaos. But the cadets now understood that it had done the opposite. It had hidden hope. It had hidden courage. It had hidden the truth. And in that quiet, forbidden archive, three young cadets vowed silently, with hearts pounding and eyes shining, that the truth would no longer remain hidden. Humans would be seen, humans would be understood, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The revelation had changed them, forever. The archive doors closed behind them with a quiet hiss, leaving the cadets in a dim corridor where the shadows seemed to stretch longer than usual. Every step they took echoed with tension, their hearts drumming like war drums in the silent halls. Zyra, Tarek, and Luvan carried with them a burden heavier than any mission they had trained for. The knowledge of the human's true nature, and the undeniable truth that the galaxy had been lied to for centuries. We can't keep this to ourselves any longer, Zyra said, her green eyes shining with determination. Her claws trembled as she held the portable holographic projector, loaded with the human footage. We have to show someone who will understand. Someone who can believe us. Tarek's scales gleamed faintly in the dim light, his jaw tight. Do you realize what we're risking? He asked, his voice low but filled with tension. The council, the commanders, they'll punish us. They could expel us, maybe even erase us from the academy records. They've done it before. Luvan's antennae twitched nervously. I know, but if we don't do this, the truth stays hidden. The galaxy keeps fearing humans, and we We can't live with that. Not after what we've seen. Sierra took a deep breath. Then we do it. We take the risk, together. We have to show the mentor. He's the only one who might believe us without immediately reporting us. The mentor they had chosen, Professor Virek, was one of the few in the academy known for fairness and courage. He had a reputation for valuing truth over rules, a rarity in the rigid hierarchy of the Galactic Academy. If anyone could see humans as they truly were, it was him, but reaching him meant sneaking past patrols, bypassing security, and facing consequences that could end their cadet careers, or worse. The three cadets crept through empty corridors, careful not to trigger motion sensors. Every step made Tarek's claws sweat. Luvan's antennae twitched with tension, and Zira's heart thudded so loudly she feared it would echo through the hall. Yet beneath the fear, a pulse of excitement surged. Excitement for the truth they carried and the possibility of changing the galaxy's perception forever. Finally, they reached Professor Virek's quarters, a modest room filled with books, holomaps, and relics of distant planets. Zira knocked softly. "Professor, it's us," she whispered. We have something you need to see, please." The door opened, and the tall, silver-skinned mentor regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Cadets, it's late." "What is it?" His eyes narrowed as he noticed the holographic projector. We need you to see this," Sierra said, her voice steady despite trembling hands. She activated the projector, and the room filled with the soft glow of human footage. The mentor's eyes widened immediately, and a rare, silent gasp escaped him. They're saving lives?" Virek's voice broke with disbelief. He watched humans navigating disasters, healing alien species, and mediating conflicts with a wisdom no one had taught them. This is extraordinary, impossible. How have we not seen this?" Tarek swallowed hard. Because the Council didn't want us to. We were told humans are dangerous, unpredictable, a threat. We believed it. Until we saw this. Virek turned to them, his silver eyes reflecting awe and a hint of worry. "You've risked everything to show me this. Do you understand what this means? If the Council discovers you've accessed forbidden files..." He trailed off, the weight of potential punishment hanging heavy in the air. "We understand," Luvan said firmly, antennae trembling but determination shining through. "But we had to show you, humans, they're not what the galaxy believes. They're extraordinary. They could change everything for the better." Virek's expression softened, awe overtaking fear. They're not just capable," he said slowly. "They are remarkable, courageous, brilliant. The galaxy has underestimated them for centuries, and you've revealed the truth. Dangerous, yes, but also beautiful." Sierra exhaled, relief washing over her like a wave. For the first time since breaking the human ban, she felt hope instead of fear. We just wanted someone to see, someone to believe us." The mentor nodded, silent for a moment as he watched the final clip. A human cradling an injured alien child, whispering promises of hope and safety. Tears glistened in his eyes. "This changes everything," he whispered. "The Council must know, and I will help you ensure the truth is heard." The cadets glanced at one another, a mixture of exhilaration and apprehension in their eyes. The first step had been taken, and the risk had been immense. Yet with Professor Virek now believing them, the impossible felt within reach. The truth about humans, once hidden and forbidden, was about to ripple through the galaxy. And three young cadets, Zira, Tarek, and Luvan, stood at the edge of history, ready to change everything they had ever been taught. For the first time, fear and hope coexisted in their hearts, each amplifying the other. The risk had been taken. The revelation had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Academy's council chamber was massive and cold, a hall built to impress, intimidate, and enforce the rules of the galaxy. The walls shimmered with holographic maps of star systems, and the seats were filled with elders and commanders whose gazes could pierce even the bravest cadet. Zira, Tarek, and Luvan stood at the center, their hearts pounding, the portable holographic projector between them. The weight of what they were about to do pressed on their shoulders like the gravity of a dying star. "This is highly irregular," the council leader said, his voice echoing across the chamber. "Cadets, you are here to explain why you have accessed forbidden files in violation of the human ban. Speak quickly." Zira inhaled deeply, shaking but determined. She raised her claws and activated the projector. The room darkened, and the soft glow of the human footage filled the chamber. Immediately, the elders leaned forward, eyes narrowing, as humans appeared on the screen, saving alien children from collapsing habitats, negotiating peace between warring species, and healing injuries that no alien medicine could touch. Tarek's voice was steady despite his racing heart. "We broke the human ban because the galaxy has been lied to. Humans are not dangerous, unpredictable, or violent. They are extraordinary. Every act you see, every life they've saved, they've done it not for power or glory, but because they care. Because they believe in life, in hope, in the possibility of making the galaxy better." A murmur spread across the chamber. Some elders looked shocked. Others whispered to one another. A few leaned back, arms crossed, refusing to believe what they were seeing. But the footage was undeniable. Every image, every action, every human act radiated courage, compassion, and brilliance. An elder with a long silver beard spoke first, his voice trembling. This cannot be. Humans are unpredictable. They are a threat. How can they perform such acts?" Luvan's antennae twitched furiously, but he stepped forward, voice clear. "Because they are not what we were taught. The Council has hidden the truth for centuries. Humans, they do things no one else can. They care when others ignore. They fight for hope when others fight for power. They are not monsters. They are the light the galaxy has ignored for far too long." Zira's claws shook as she raised her voice, emotion breaking through. "We risked everything to show you this. The human ban has kept the galaxy blind. We have seen the truth. And the truth must be shared. Humans can teach us courage, compassion, and hope. We must not waste another second fearing them. We must learn from them." Silence fell over the council chamber. For the first time in decades, the elders had no words. They could not deny what they saw. The images of humans saving millions, helping strangers, and risking everything for the lives of others were impossible to ignore. Finally, one elder spoke, voice soft and trembling. "Could it be that we were wrong? That our fears were lies?" The cadets nodded, tears glistening in their eyes. "Yes," Tarek said firmly. "We were told to fear humans. But they are not a threat. They are the galaxy's greatest hope." Another elder whispered, voice breaking. "All this time, we were blind." Professor Virek stepped forward, his silver eyes shining. "I have known these cadets to be brave, truthful, and honorable. They have risked everything to bring you the truth. The human ban, it has hidden not danger but greatness. We must lift it. We must see humans as they are." The council remained silent for a long moment, grappling with centuries of fear, lies, and prejudice. Then slowly, one by one, the elders' expressions softened. Shock turned to awe, skepticism to understanding, and fear to hope. Zira, Tarek, and Luvan felt a surge of relief and triumph. They had faced the most powerful council in the galaxy and shown them the truth. The fear that had haunted them for days, weeks, and months began to lift, replaced with something stronger: hope, pride, and the knowledge that their courage had changed the galaxy. One elder finally spoke with quiet authority. "The human ban is lifted. Humans will be acknowledged. Humans will be observed, and their actions will no longer be hidden from the galaxy. Let this be the beginning of a new era." The cadets exchanged stunned, joyful glances. Tears streamed down Zira's face, and Tarek's jaw trembled with relief. Luvan's antennae twitched uncontrollably, but he smiled through his tears. For the first time, humans were no longer forbidden. The galaxy would see them, learn from them, and perhaps finally understand what it meant to be truly extraordinary. As the council chamber slowly emptied, Zira whispered to her friends, voice trembling with emotion, "We did it. We showed them the truth, humans. They're finally going to be seen. Tarek nodded, eyes shining. And the galaxy will never be the same. Luvan added softly. Humans. They weren't just hidden. They were waiting for us to see them, and now, we have. The three cadets left the chamber together, their hearts lighter than they had ever been. The fear, the doubt, the risk, it had all been worth it. The galaxy had changed, and at its heart were humans, no longer forbidden, no longer misunderstood, but finally recognized for the extraordinary beings they truly were. The first human ships arrived quietly, without ceremony, yet their presence shook the galaxy to its core. Across countless star systems, alien species watched in awe as humans who had been hidden, feared, and underestimated for centuries now stepped into the light. And at the heart of this awakening were three cadets, Zyra, Tarek, and Luvan, who had dared to defy rules, face fear, and reveal the truth. The cadets stood on a high balcony of the Galactic Academy, gazing at the fleet as it approached. Each ship was simple, functional, yet every design reflected the ingenuity, care, and brilliance of humans. The fleet carried not weapons but aid, medical supplies, tools to repair star systems, seeds for dying planets, and technology to prevent disasters. Zira's green eyes shimmered with emotion. I never imagined it would feel like this, she whispered. Seeing them, finally recognized it's overwhelming. Humans, they're extraordinary. Tarek, standing beside her, nodded slowly. We risked everything to show the truth. And now, look at them. Not a single act of aggression, not a single sign of arrogance. They come to help. They come to heal. They come to remind the galaxy that hope exists. Luvan's antennae twitched with excitement, his small form trembling. They're showing us everything we've been too blind to see. Courage, compassion, brilliance, and humility. They could conquer, they could dominate, but they choose to save, to build, to care. As the human ships landed on planets across multiple systems, alien crowds gathered, staring in wonder. Creatures who had been enemies for centuries watched as humans mediated conflicts peacefully. Star systems that had teetered on the edge of collapse were stabilized. Communities that had feared extinction were given new life. The stories of humans on the footage were nothing compared to the reality unfolding before the galaxy. Professor Virek approached the cadets, his silver eyes glistening with pride. You three, he said quietly, have done more than expose the truth. You have changed the course of history. The galaxy will remember your courage, your determination, and your belief in what was right. Zira felt a warmth spread through her chest, a mixture of relief, pride, and awe. We only showed the truth, she said softly. Humans, they did everything themselves. We just helped others see it. Tarek placed a clawed hand on her shoulder. Sometimes showing the truth is as powerful as the truth itself. The cadets watched as humans stepped out of their ships to greet alien species. A human knelt beside a wounded alien child, gently tending to its injuries, whispering soft words of comfort. Another human organized aid for a planet recovering from a meteor storm. Every act, every gesture, every moment radiated a simple truth. Humans were extraordinary not because of strength or technology, but because of heart. Luvan's voice was barely audible, trembling with emotion. We feared them for centuries, and now I see. They were never to be feared. They were meant to inspire, to remind the galaxy what courage and hope really look like. Zira's eyes filled with tears. They've changed the galaxy without demanding power or glory. They've shown that even in the darkest corners, life, hope, and compassion can thrive. And we helped the galaxy finally see it. As the sun set over the Academy's horizon, the cadets stood together, hearts full, minds alight with the possibilities the future held. No longer hidden, humans became teachers, healers, and guardians. The galaxy's fear transformed into admiration. The prejudice that had blinded countless civilizations slowly dissolved. And at the center of it all, humans were neither conquerors nor monsters. They were a force of hope, courage, and inspiration that could not be ignored. Zira took a deep breath, smiling through her tears. We risked everything, and it was worth it. Humans, they're extraordinary, and now the galaxy will finally know it. Tarek nodded, his jaw relaxed for the first time in weeks. We've seen the impossible, and we've shared it. The galaxy is awake now. Humans, they're a reminder that strength isn't always weapons, and courage isn't always fearlessness. Sometimes it's heart, hope, and the willingness to act when no one else will. Luvan's small hand rested on the balcony rail, antennae twitching with quiet joy. They weren't just hidden. They were waiting for someone to see them, and now we did, and the galaxy will never be the same again. The three cadets watched as humans moved among the stars, their deeds inspiring awe and hope in every species they touched. A new era had begun, an era of understanding, courage, and unity. And at the heart of that era were humans, extraordinary, unseen for too long, but now shining brightly as a reminder that even in the vast galaxy, one species could make a difference that echoed across the stars. The cadets knew, in that moment, that they had witnessed history. They had been part of it, and they understood the truth that had eluded the galaxy for centuries. Humans were not just another species. Humans were hope made flesh, courage made visible, and heart made unstoppable. And in that knowledge, Zira, Tarek, and Luvan smiled, their hearts swelling with pride and emotion. The human ban was gone, the galaxy had awakened, and humanity finally was seen for what it truly was, extraordinary.